Now, let me suggest that it's a no-brainer that any government needs to communicate effectively with its civil servants. So what needs to be said, and how do you avoid this being an expensive party propaganda tool? Well, the editor-in-chief of the Public Sector Manager, Vusi Mona, is with us. The title has just been launched. Welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. You say in your communique that you need to build pride and prestige among public servants. What's the core problem then that you're addressing?
Well, the perception out there about public servants is that they are fat cats, they don't know how to spend public money, and they basically don't know what they are doing. And
a lot of that criticism is richly deserved.
Well, Jeremy, I wouldn't say a lot of it. You know, in a public sector which has got 1.3 million public servants, I would argue that the majority know what they are doing. South Africa works because the public sector works. It's only a few rotten apples that have earned us this unfortunate reputation.
So you're saying there is a problem when it comes to pride and prestige?
There is a problem. There's a self-perception problem, but there's also a problem with how the public perceives us. And we needed to create a platform where we could showcase what is working, showcase innovations that are being pushed by public sector managers.
So is this just a good news magazine? Is it a list of things that government is getting right?
Well, in the main, yes, but we will not shy away from the things that are going wrong. We will highlight those with the aim of saying to public sector managers, this is what you've got to avoid.
Some criticism says that this could just be a party propaganda tool. I understand the need to communicate with public servants. How do you prevent it from becoming such?
Well, as public servants, we do not take instructions directly from the party. We don't interface with the ruling party. It is only the executive, cabinet ministers, that interact with the ruling party. So I don't see how the ruling party can actually directly influence the content in the magazine.
But you've got to gatekeep properly, though.
Well, we have to. It's a ruling party. You know, the ANC is not just a party, it is a ruling party. And we can't move away from the fact that what we reflect in the magazine has got to be in line with the policies of the ruling party.
How critical are you going to be of government?
Well, this is our own publication. We will be critical when it comes to people who are doing wrong things, who are flouting the laws. There's the PFMA that governs how we need to handle public monies, and any manager who flouts those things, we will take them on.
But fundamentally, it's a message medium as far as government is concerned.
Fundamentally, it's about communicating the things that we are doing and that we are doing best.
And Vusi Mona, I would hope in a compelling and an entertaining way. Again, your communique also says it'll feature interviews with ministers, deputy ministers, directors general, and senior officials. I'd also say that that sounds about as interesting as watching paint dry.
Well,
you've got to make this readable, haven't you? Otherwise, it's going to go straight from the desk into the bin.
Oh, definitely. We've just conducted research, Jeremy, and amongst the target audience, and they find it very interesting. People are saying, look, ministers could be our own ministers, but we really have an opportunity as public servants to get to understand their thinking. There's just too many of us, they're busy, and this platform, they tell us that it's offering, you know, a best way of how to engage ministers and to get to understand their policy directions.
Vusi Mona, why a magazine? Many, and you've been in print journalism for much of your career, many would say that the print component of media is dying, that there are better ways of doing this. Why not a more cost-effective online offering that would save the taxpayer some money?
Well, let's start with the taxpayers. We are not putting this out based on what Treasury gives us. In fact, we looked at one of our state-owned entities, South African Airways. We looked at the model that they use with regard to Sawubona, and we've copied that model. So we are not going to go to Treasury and ask for money to put this out. It is funded through advertising, so it's not a burden on the taxpayer. But we think that print, Jeremy,
it's a self-sustaining magazine.
We sell advertising, and it is that revenue that we use to publish the magazine. Coming from print, I would challenge the notion that print is dead. Print is going to be around for a very long time. It offers certain conveniences. You can always go back to it. You can take it to the bathroom. You can take it to your bed. I'm not sure if you can do that with even iPads. You know, I have one and I find it difficult to read it when I go to bed. I always prefer print.
Let's get back to the advertising model. Many would say it's laudable, but given that it's government asking for advertising, advertising. Are you going to strong arm advertisers?
No, we are not. They've got to look at the worth of the market. Is this a bankable market? And we believe that it is. We've outsourced the service to people who do that best. We are only handling the editorial as government because we are sitting with the content. But there is a service provider who has advised us and told us that this is a bankable market. You're looking at about 10,000 senior managers in government. Collectively, they earn about 7 billion. Now, that's a powerful audience in their own right, insofar as they are consumers. But it's also an audience that has control of over 60 billion in procurement. Whatever people are selling to government, these are the people you need to be talking to. So on the basis of that, we think it's a bankable target audience.
What sort of interest have you had from advertisers so far?
We've had a lot of interest, Jeremy. There are people who are supplying services and goods to government and who want to be in the eyes of these target audience, have expressed a lot of interest. I mean, you can look at the book yourself. You're looking at about 30 to 40% advertising contained in the magazine.
Vusi Mona, thank you very much for joining us. Good luck with the project.
Thank you very much.
Let's